I am with Taryn, founder and CEO of The Right Fit. Now, Taryn, for those who don't know, tell us about The Right Fit. What do they do? Why do they exist?
So it's a two-sided marketplace for creative talent. So essentially we have everything that you could need to bring a creative campaign to life. So photographers, models, social media influencers, actors, stylists, anything that you'd need for an event or a social media execution or a shoot, all in one place.
Full service.
All in one place, that's right. Trying to make it as easy as possible.
How did this come about and how long have you been running The Right Fit?
So it's just over 12 months old. I founded my first company, Wink Models, about 10 years ago. So it grew out of the sort of natural evolution of the changes that we were seeing in the landscape. So I moved towards smaller pieces of digital content being produced, brands needing to feed these always on social channels, and the advent of the social media influencer coming onto the scene.
I love that how you mentioned you're responding to what was happening in the marketplace. Of course, probably we all have heard of Wink Models. Why is that important for businesses to do, to respond and not be afraid of change?
Absolutely. I mean, so many markets are ripe for disruption these days that if you're standing still, like you're going to be left behind, you need to be looking out and seeing what's changing in your landscape, what the trends are coming forward, and really making sure that you are adapting because it is changing so incredibly quickly.
I love that you still played to your strengths though. So like you brought out a retail business, you still knew what you were good at and then you just targeted that. How's been the growth over the last 12 months and what have you seen happen in the business?
It's been incredible. I mean, even the changes in The Right Fit in the last 12 months have been absolutely insane. So we now have just over 6,500 talent on the platform, which is ridiculous in such a short period of time. And we've shot some amazing pieces of content and worked with amazing international brands as well. But we're even seeing a shift now from the way influencers were engaged in campaigns, from purely featuring in content creation to now seeding and amplifying content for existing brands as well.
I love that. Now we know business isn't all smooth sailing. In your experience, what are some of the challenges that you've had to overcome?
There's so many challenges on a day-to-day basis, and I think that's one of the hardest things in being a founder and a CEO is that you're constantly having to adapt to changes, not only in the market but in your team and in your business, coming up against challenges on a day-to-day basis. Personally, for me, it's probably been around growing into a team and scaling, especially growing an international team and dealing with time zone challenges has been, a real headache and something that we're working with on a day-to-day basis. It does mean that we work long hours and are constantly trying to find new pieces of technology that allow us to communicate better and more efficiently.
There's so much happening in the social media element at the moment. How do you guys stay focused on what you're trying to achieve and not be tempted to maybe look at what your competitors are doing? How do you stay strategic in that space without being the same as everyone else?
Yeah, and it is such a cluttered space. So it's really important. We got really, really clear about the place that we wanted to play in and just about swimming in your own lane. So The Right Fit's built around a social media backbone, meaning that you can find talent based on their reach or engage them to create, amplify and seed content across all different kinds of channels. So we really wanted to just play in our strengths and not really be swayed by what other people were doing in the market. But it's incredibly difficult because new pieces of technology are coming out all the time. Changes in social media are, being released every single day. New algorithms, Snapchat is releasing new features. So it's really hard not to get swayed, but we have to stay sort of true to our core beliefs and what we want to do.
And when it comes to collaborating, maybe with social media influencers, what should brands be aware of and maybe what should they look out for? Because just because someone has 1 million followers these days doesn't mean they're the right fit.
So true, so true. And it's something that we go through with brands all the time because it's like people say, we need to create content, we need to create video content, and we need to work with influencers. They're all the hype trends at the moment. But do you really need to work with influencers? And who's the right influencer for your brand? Like, are they speaking to the right target demographic? What does their vision of success look like? What sort of keywords do you want them to be using? Really getting really granular about those things before you start looking at, okay, who's going to be the right influencer and should we be using influencers for our campaigns?
I love it. Now, how do you identify between an influencer and a brand what the right fit is and how do you identify what kind of campaign you should roll out?
We asked them to really sit down and think about, okay, what does success look like? What are you trying to achieve? Is there a particular call to action? Are you trying to drive sales? Is it brand awareness? Who's going to resonate with your audience and who can speak with authenticity? Who's going to really engage? And it needs to be mutually beneficial. So it needs to be beneficial to the influencer's audience and to yours as well. So sit down and map that out and then sit down and look at, okay, well, who might be the right match for my brand? How can I engage with them to create content that's going to benefit both of our channels? And how can we build an ongoing, sustainable relationship?
So good. And it's all about getting that authentic engagement, right? numbers these days can be so deceiving on social media. Okay, your parting words, your advice for anyone that's thinking about taking a leap of faith and then either starting their own business or executing a campaign that might not have been done before, so there's nothing really to compare it to in the market. What's your advice?
Oh, look, I always say there's never a right time. There's never going to be a perfect time that your kids are going to be the right age to start a business or that you can have enough savings in the bank. So I personally think take the risk, get started, really give it a try. Better to die knowing. Worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work and then you go back to what you were doing before. So take a risk. Being an entrepreneur and a founder is all about getting comfortable with taking risks on a day-to-day basis. So get out there and give it a shot.
I could listen to you talk all day. I love it. I have one more though. One more. When it comes to collaboration, okay, with businesses and other businesses, how important is that? Because it's something that Waterman takes such great pride in, collaboration. We're better together, we say.
I love that. It's a fantastic quote, yeah. And no, it's so important. You need to get around like-minded individuals who can really help you grow. It's so important to have sounding boards and people to go to for advice as well. And there's so many opportunities to build and support each other. So I think it's the backbone of business. You need to find people with common goals, common values, common vision, get them around you and get them flourishing alongside you.
So good. Taryn from The Right Fit, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.